Welcome into Unbreakable, a mental wealth podcast with Jay Glazer. I'm Jay Glazer, and I want to welcome in somebody, when I think of Unbreakable, it's actually who I think of. And the reason why is she is my partner in Unbreakable, the performance center that we opened up, but she is a G. She is a gangster. We are in the middle of the Olympic trials right now, so who better to have on than my partner in Unbreakable, Lindsey Berg. Lindsey Berg has been on three U.S. Olympic women's volleyball teams. She was the captain of two of those U.S. Olympic women's volleyball teams, and she has two silver medals as well. One of those teams was like an eighth or ninth seed, right, Lindsey? And
yeah, we were definitely underdogs in that Beijing Olympics for sure. So
got them all the way up to the silver Olympics, silver medal. So look, you and I have been around each other a lot, and and when we first opened Unbreakable too, I wanted to partner with a very like an empowered woman, and man, are you ever. Like, you are, if I could bottle up what you have behind your rib cage and between your ears, which is what we try to do, and give it to these other athletes in every other sport, there'd be a lot more champions out there. So first of all, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Jay. Such an honor. Obviously, it's been great to be your business partner and just see both of us go through so many times that could have broken us. Let's put it that way. So here we are.
I wanted to, because I've had a lot of Olympians on. I've had Michael Phelps on early on. Obviously, that's my guy. And Michael and I are very public how much we still help each other mental health wise. Like, we lean into each other. We call each other just to check, to make sure you've done that for me. I've done that for you. Lindsey Vonn, she's been on, who also is one of my mental health buddies. But you have been so consistent in my life, being there for me. And it's cool because I got a lot of friends in the NFL whose daughters play volleyball. And I was like, oh, we should have them work with my partner, Lindsey Berg. And they're all like, Lindsey Berg's your partner. Like, they go crazy when they hear your name, which is wild. So I want to, there's so many ways you and I could start. But first of all, for our listeners who don't know you, kind of give an overview of, why I think you're such a gangster, basically.
Yeah,
basically, but what your career has been. And it's been an uphill battle for you.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people don't know is I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii. Born and raised there, come from an incredible family, an incredible support system. And even in Hawaii, volleyball is one of the biggest sports. Not many people know the support there, even in the college level, is ridiculous. So my first unbreakable moment was when I went to the University of Minnesota from Hawaii. So I almost broke at that moment.
Yeah. Why did you go to the coldest place ever?
I had a really interesting recruiting process. Being from Hawaii, to go on my recruiting trips, it was so far. I didn't want to leave my volleyball team at varsity my senior year, so I just couldn't plan these visits. And so slowly schools were like checking me off, like, she wants to come here, but like we can't get her here, and we need to sign somebody. And then also people really doubted my size and my athletic ability. So some of the schools that I did want to go to, I was like maybe third on their list, so on and so forth. And I just got really sick of the whole process. And my dad knew the coach, and he's like, please just like go on a visit. And I was like, the coach was great. And I went
I'm assuming you went in the summer.
What's that?
I'm assuming you went in the summer.
Like August. Yeah.
Okay. So it's beautiful in August. Yeah. Gorgeous. Right.
Yeah. So I went, and I kind of was just like defeated in the whole process of recruiting. And I was like, I can go to business school. I know I'm going to play all 4 years. I can build this program. And I picked it and I did it. So
but even back then, you're like, I could build this program.
Yeah. Because they weren't a Final Four team yet. And so I could walk on to Stanford or go to a team that's been in the Final Four. And who knows if I would have played all 4 years, even if I was good enough or deserved to. And I would have had a hard time on the bench. So I chose to build a program.
But one of the things, and I'm going to jump all the way ahead to your Olympic career.
Yeah.
And we talk about you in uphill battle, if you will.
Yeah.
You don't, there's something you say, and I want you to kind of say it, where people kind of judge you by your cover.
Yeah, for sure. That was my whole career, even starting at home in Hawaii. of course, in the real life, I guess 5'8" is tall for a woman, but 5'8" was definitely not tall in the volleyball world. I was also, I'd say, a thicker set and not like just like a small string bean. And my body didn't look as athletic as people especially wanted it to. And so they would judge me first by just that for how I was going to play and how good I was going to be. And I mean, it was still till my third Olympics. People were talking shit on the internet about how I looked. So like one wasn't even enough. Two wasn't enough. Even in my third, I had to read the blogs and still trying to prove myself while I was on that team.
Wow. So take me through. All right. So here we are at the trials.
Yeah.
And I know it's like for track and field and those sports. Well, first, okay, yeah, my ADD is killing me here because I want to jump all over the place. And we'll get there because it's unbelievable to me that Olympians have to wait 4 years for redemption where, like, I lost a fight and I talked to that promoter that night. I'm like, I want on your next card. I got waited 4 months to fight again. Or in the NFL, you just got to wait a year, right? Yeah. Or you wait a couple months and you start training again for it. For 4 years. We'll get to that in a little bit because that is maddening to me.
Yeah.
But give me the process of making the Olympics.
Yeah, of course.
Before even getting there, just getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. Volleyball team sports are quite different, obviously, than the individual sports like track and field, where there's a core group of us. You either get invited or you make a tryout to train with we call is the national team before you're actually on the Olympic team. So Olympians are the only ones that are considered on the Olympic team. Before that, in those 4 years, you're on the national team. So you get invited. There's a core group, about 25 women that are every summer together. And we're just like competing with each other. And we have tournaments every summer. And it's not only just the summer of the Olympics, like we're together every summer. And it's just about 25, 24 core women that are rotating. Some make the traveling team, 12 to 14 make a traveling team. Some are always staying back. And you do that for 4 years until about a month before the Olympics, the team gets announced.
So is there one final thing that they go, okay, we're gonna judge them and pick them, or is it really over those 4 years? Or
it's definitely over the 4 years.
Really?
I'd say going into the last year, there's maybe a core of 8 of the 12 that are going to make it, just because they've been the starters for the whole years, or certain things like that. The team just got announced. 8 or 9 of them were from the last Olympics already this coming year. So sometimes you kind of know, and sometimes there's like 1 or 2 that are like a huge surprise and they're competing against each other that whole 4 years. And it comes down to when the coach wants to pick the team.
Did you always know all 3 of your Olympics, or were you ever?
Yeah, I did know all 3 of them. My first Olympics, it was obviously, I think more so.
And that was 2004, right?
A question mark, but our coach had, Athens 2004. Our coach had been traveling with kind of the same team for most of that summer. So you could kind of tell that was going to be the team. And then the other 2, I was more of a vet and I was a leader and a captain. And It was pretty clear, but I did have a little hiccup, which we might talk about at the unbreakable moment before 2008. But yeah, so that's it. You just are together all summer. You are working hard. You're competing and trying to be a good teammate at the same time with someone that you're competing with to make the team. And about a month in advance, they announce the team.
How are you financially surviving during these 12 years?
Yeah, so luckily USA Volleyball found a way to fundraise and pay us. Not a huge amount of money, but for the time that we are with the team, there was a stipend. And then in the other 7 to 8 months, we are playing professionally overseas.
Oh, okay.
Where we make our money. So I played 7 years in Italy and a year in Turkey, and they pay well, and they pay even better now. And interesting enough, there's going to be 3 leagues now in the United States starting after the Olympics. 2 have already kind of started and going on. Wow. And then one of the biggest one, League One Volleyball, I'm an investor in. It's really cool. They're starting from ground up, working with like young ladies, pick the cities where to be for the professional teams because of how many kids were playing volleyball there. It's really cool. They've done a great job. So that's going to start in 2025.
All right. So before we get into your Olympics, actually, okay. So your first Olympics is Athens.
Yeah.
What's it feel like those opening ceremonies?
Oh, you burst into tears immediately. Um, so we have to wait. You're just like in a holding arena, and United States is not the first people to walk.
Right. So you're
So
with every U.S. Olympian
you're with
together.
every US Olympian, you're around the other countries that are before or after you. You all go together from the village and in these buses to wherever it is. Obviously, it depends on which Olympics and where it's being located and so on and so forth. But it's just exciting. You're taking pictures with fellow Olympians because at that moment, no matter how famous you are or not famous as an Olympian, you're there being an Olympian.
You're all
So
together on the
whether it's
same plane,
Michael
right?
Phelps compared to me, he's quite famous. I'm
Right.
not. But we're all there for the same reason and at like the same playing field. So it's pretty cool.
So again, tell me, you say you, because I want you to take our listeners into this.
Okay, I gotta
Yeah.
as you're walking in a tunnel normally because it's say at, kind of like a football stadium.
Right.
You're walking in a tunnel, and then as you get out in the tunnel, the whole stadium's filled. So normally it's normally like a soccer stadium, so like 100,000, 100 to 120,000. And then all of the other Olympians are already in the middle of the field that walked before. So you just walk out into like the biggest cheers, seeing every walk of life, like every walk of life you could even imagine that are Olympians, from every country around you, live a completely different life than you. And you cannot help but cry. Like
Wow.
as strong as you are and want to keep it in and be cute because the camera's on you, there is no stopping the tears.
Oh
And it
my
had
God.
all three times.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, are you uh, are you trying to focus on something to keep it together? Are you looking for family in the stands, or what? Or are you just
You're just trying to keep it together, but not. You're also trying to enjoy the moment.
okay?
Like our first one, they didn't really want phones out that much, and we didn't have great phones either in 2004. They weren't the best. So now I think like, everyone's on their cell phone and filming and capturing moments, but you're really just like you're hugging your teammates or you're looking around. Not many family members go to the opening ceremonies,
Right.
like hard to get tickets, very expensive, all of the above, but it's just special.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So then after that, what is well, first of all, tell me what the Olympic Village is like.
Yeah. Well, interesting enough, we're always in a very interesting position of many reasons. We played always the next day after the opening ceremonies.
Oh,
So
really? Oh, so
yeah,
that's game night for you.
yeah, we would never stay for the whole ceremonies. Once we walked, there was a way to usher us out and leave. So we did that just because it always so happened that women's volleyball played the first day of the Olympics. Um, and then the Olympic Village, also very different for us as well, because we made it so far each Olympics. We went all 2 weeks. So there wasn't like, hey, we played a game and now it's time to celebrate and party. We played a game. And then the next day we're practicing, watching video, everyone's recovering their bodies. So we didn't experience the village as we hear the village is.
That's what I'm getting at right here. I
Yes.
hear it, I read
Yeah.
it, and it's like sex fest left and right.
I
Is
know
it?
you are. I'm sure that's happening, but with us, like we were so locked in, like we're expected to win, even if we're not ranked high. USA is like expected to do well in the Olympics. So, and also as women's sports, they also, I would say, not baby us, but kind of. So it's like we're on a schedule, we're on video, we're at practice, where you better do your rehab, all of those things. So we maybe see people when we go and eat in the cafeteria. But other than that, sometimes we'll see some other Americans and like watch an event in like the little watch room that we had. But I don't know anything about the craziness on the village.
Okay. All right.
But
What did you
sure
have
it
to
goes on.
prevent? You were the captain. Did you have to prevent from your players from trying to
There were
sneak
a
out to the village?
couple, there were a
Yeah.
couple incidents that we had to address and needed people to be getting their rest. And not that it was a curfew, but kind of.
Right.
We have a big game tomorrow, or every game is big. So there were definitely a few things that had to be addressed in my three Olympics. That's for sure.
So now, what I love about you also is like and the story that kind of always I like to brag about you about is that you had Olympics, you guys, I think, were an eighth or ninth seed, and you were the captain
Yeah.
and pushed them and led them to a silver medal.
Yeah.
Talk
That was,
talk about that.
yeah, I will talk about that because there's many factors to that one. I was actually co-captain with our other setter, same position. We're both from Hawaii. She's one of my mentors, someone I looked up to my whole life. We played in both 2004 and 2008 together, Robin Amo. And so during that Olympics, actually, we had a really huge tragedy happen right before our first match. So we got woken up during our naps before our first game and got told that one of our close members, she went to the 2004 Olympics with us, and then she's married to the men's coach at that time, but she was just there with her and her family. Her family got attacked at a tourist venue, and her father passed and her mother survived. And
Oh
so,
my God.
yeah, so we get that call before our first match against Japan. We're told to call all of our families. And we're talking like 4 hours before our first match.
Where is this? Where is this? Beijing?
This is in Beijing.
They were attacked in Beijing?
Yeah. And then the man also ended up killing himself.
Oh
It
my
was just
God.
a random act at a tourist venue. Not the Great Wall, I forget where it was, but so
So they
here we
weren't targeted,
are.
just a random attack?
Yeah, just a random attack.
Was your teammate hurt?
No, she was not.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
so we get that call, and they've been our volleyball family forever. Not only was she at the Olympics with us in four, her husband is currently coaching the men's team, and so we were just like, whew. And we pulled together, and we knew why we were going to win, and that was why we got silver. We were definitely not even close to a medal team of like our skill compared to others.
Why do you say that's why you got silver?
Well, we dug deep for her and her family, and we had like
Wow.
another purpose of why we were there and why we were going to do this and why we were going to let everything of our troubles or things that we had in the last 4 years go as a team and just like dig deep. And we
Wow.
did.
Do you remember what you said to your team
Man.
after that first practice?
I mean, we were a mess immediately. We had a
Right.
team meeting. I mean, we're all crying. We're like, we got to play in 4 hours. We were a mess, but we were just all like, we're going to do this. Wiz is our teammate. We're going to do this for Wiz. We're going to do this for the Bachmans. That was the family. So yeah, it was a consistent, we're just going to dig deep. And
Wow.
it's bigger than us.
So you're then, helping lead this team from being an underdog on, you know, take me through that a little bit
Yeah, so
and get
that
into the gold
year,
medal game. Yeah.
yeah, so that year, Robin and I actually were both playing a lot. It was like, who's the better matchup? My coach at that Olympics was really good about, hey, if something's not working, we're about to switch it. Everyone's good on this team. Everyone can play together. She was really good game time coach of making substitutions.
Mm.
So both Robin and I played a lot, almost every match. But it came down to I actually have one of the most memorable matches of my life, that Olympics. It came down to we were playing Italy in the quarterfinals. Italy is maybe number 2 in the world, supposed to beat us. Robin's playing the first 2 sets. We get down 2-0, and we're playing 3 out of 5 in volleyball. And I get put in, and talk about me being in the zone. I was in the zone that we talk about as athletes, where nothing, like, you're not hearing anybody else. You're seeing just this and your goal. And I got put in, and we came back and we beat them in 5 to make the semifinals.
Wow.
And I definitely had one of the games of my life, but mentally it was like the game of my life, of how locked in I was, my purpose of why I chose to. We'll talk about my moment again. I told you I had an unbreakable moment that actually broke me, but I got out of it. Came back to the team, and that we won that one. And then we knew we had Cuba next. We beat Cuba all the time. And even Robin played that one. She plays all the time. We beat them. And then we were in that gold medal match against Brazil, who's the number one in the world. And yeah, that's how we got there.
Is it heartbreaking to lose the gold medal match when you're not supposed to be in the first place? Are you able to, like a silver medal, you're a badass.
Yeah.
Are you able to appreciate a silver medal?
Yeah. That year we really did. Okay. I'd say 12 was harder for us. So we really did appreciate it. It's not that we didn't believe in ourselves going into the Olympics, but we kind of like, it proved our level during the year before, and so we believed in ourselves, but we weren't supposed to be there. But we got there and we played our hardest, and Brazil is just so good, so good. But we appreciated that silver.
What are some of the coaching tips you can give us that works? Obviously, you've coached college. What colleges have you coached?
I went to Hawaii for one season and Pepperdine for a season.
Okay. So you've coached also, but what are some of the coaching tips, I guess, that you have seen that works for volleyball players from the Olympic level all the way down?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is you got to be a good teammate. I mean, when you're on the court. So you got to find trust. You got to be a good teammate. You got to make each other better. And it doesn't matter. Maybe you don't like each other off the court. And that's like completely fine. But when you step on the court and you step into practice, you need to be a good teammate for your team to be good. And, sometimes there were good teammates on my team and sometimes there weren't. And being in my position, the setter, who is like the coach on the court, practically, we call the plays. We touch a ball in every rally. We're setting everyone up for greatness. That I just knew to be on the court or to make the team that I had to somehow make my teammates better. If not, I'm physically not as good as them. They already have this mentality about me that I'm not as good as far as like coaching in the volleyball world. So I really had to be different. And that was my leadership and making my teammates better. So when I'm able to, as a player, I can really tell these young ladies, because they look up to me as a player as well, that I've been through it. So when I'm telling them, you guys got to be like, stop being a bitch, like be a better teammate, they're listening because I've been through it. I've been through it all, That's the main one. If you can get a tight knit on the court as a team, it's really, really big, especially for women, I think, in the women's game. And then it's just in volleyball is always trying to make the next hit better. So you're trying to better the ball every time. So I'm the setter where I touch the second ball to set up the hitter. So say my passer doesn't get me a great pass, which is one of the most difficult skills, first of all, to pass. I'm always trying to make that pass better with my set. So I would always tell everyone, try to better the ball. So if I don't set up my hitter good, they're really trying to save me and get a good hit, do something with it, do a shot, do their best to better my ball. So those are like the two things that I really would engrave in all the young ladies that I've coached.
All right, so now we hit on it a little bit. So you get silver in 8 and then go back to 12. And like I said,
killing it in 12. We're killing it, like the whole quad. 2011 and 12, we're on fire.
Wait, but go back. I just want to hit this. Like, again, in the world of football, you're back, you're playing 6 months later.
Yeah.
We don't have to wait 4 years. In fighting, you could wait. Right. You can go, hey, I want on the next card if you're not too banged up. It is always kind of like amazed me about the resilience of somebody to have to wait 4 years for that shot of redemption. It drives me crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Let's put it that way. We've got to understand what we can control. We can't control the Olympics not being in 4 years. It becomes addicting. As unglamorous as it is, especially for smaller sport athletes, say us, or I mean, the things the wrestlers I saw go through when we were living in Colorado Springs was wild. It just becomes addicting. And if your body is okay enough to keep going, you're going to keep going. And then at that part of time, that's our job too, that is how we're making money playing overseas. We get paid more overseas. If we're on the Olympic team, it's like goes together, So it just becomes addicting and you want it more. And it's a thrill when you're there. And it's not much of a question if someone wants to continue to go again. It's more so of if someone wants to say start a family, then maybe they'll stop. But some people have started a family while playing and just took a year off. I was forced to stop pretty much because of my knee. Because I still, after losing that 2012, I was like, no, I'm going back. And I could barely walk. But yeah, I think it's just you are mentally prepared for what it is. You know that it's every 4 years. So as much as you want it to be the next year, there's other tournaments we play in and we have a long time to prepare. And so at least for playing in competition, it's not just practice for 4 years. We do have competitions.
So now you're going to 12, you're the favorites,
Oh yeah.
right? And where is that Olympics?
That's in London.
Okay.
We
Uh,
flew through pool play. Like we barely lost sets and like we were on fire.
okay.
And then we get to that gold medal match and
Wait, before you get to that.
okay.
How is it when you get to those Olympics, when you walk into that stadium as a favorite as opposed to an underdog? Is
Yeah.
that a different feeling?
I'd say it's a different feeling. I say USA in general, though, everyone's out to get us. So even if we're an underdog in a ranking, we're still USA and everyone wants to beat us. So
Right.
there is that feeling of we, no matter what, have to be on our game because everyone that made the Olympics, there's only four, I think there's 14 total teams, 12 or 14 total teams. Everybody's good. There's maybe
Best
one
in the world, right?
team. Yeah, I mean in London, so the host city, the host country gets a team no matter what. So London, the UK hadn't been known to be a great volleyball team, so they might have been one of the underdogs, but everybody else is like
Right.
amazing.
Right.
But 2012, we thought we were the shit. I think we were just really good. We had a really good mix of vets and rookies, and it was a good time and we were flowing.
Okay. Now I cut you off before. Now you're going to
Yeah.
that gold medal game.
So first set, we're flowing. I think we beat Brazil like 25-14 in the first set. And I'm like, oh, we might have like awakened a monster because Brazil, no matter what, they're good. They're good. They're so good. And they were pissed. And their team had more vets than our team. So they started picking on our rookies, just picking on them. And we couldn't recover.
What do
And
you mean picking on? Like talking
so
shit
they'll
across
just,
the net or
yeah, they're just
spiking it at them? Or,
serve a certain person and keep going at them, keep going at them. We've played them so much also that they know now where some of our younger players are hitting because they're not as experienced. So Brazil is so good and they've been playing their whole lives. They're very mental. They've been to the gold medal match so many times. They're just in that match a little more experienced than us. And they found a way to pick our team apart and they beat us 3-1. And I said, I want to play right away, right now. We would beat them because we're the better team. But, it's like the Super Bowl. Sometimes the
yeah.
so-called best team doesn't win. It's
Wow.
one game.
As the captain, and you see that starting to unravel, go the other way. What's going on
Man,
between your ears?
I'm trying to keep everyone together. At one point in time, I told my coach sub me out and try to like switch it up, like,
Wow.
because they play against me all the time. You can get predictable at moments, especially in my position of where I'm going to set it. So there was a
Right.
point I'm like, we got to switch something up. And I was just trying to keep everybody positive and keep everybody going and try different things and pick them apart too, but we fell apart.
Were you able to appreciate a silver still?
Yeah, I mean, yes, gold would have obviously been better.
Yeah.
I truly believe that is the best team I've ever played on, that we did deserve gold.
Mhm.
So knowing that, also, I know I gave my all. Um, I did everything I could possibly do. So yeah, looking back at it, obviously these are accomplishments I never thought I would ever, ever have. and the goal would have been super cool, but it is what it is. My dad always says silver lining, you're going to be golden in life. And so we'll see.
You know, I've always marveled at you. Like, I
Yeah.
just think Olympic medals to me, I don't know, I look at them like the Holy Grail. It's just, man, it's majestic,
Yeah.
so majestic. Um, Give me some of it's going to be two things here. They may be the same thing,
Okay.
but lessons as a captain
Mm-hmm.
that equate to life, whether it's business, life, anything,
Yeah.
and lessons as a coach that equate to life, business, the world, life.
Yeah, I think they are both similar. For me, I've always like really loved the word collaboration in general. I even have a tattoo that represents collaboration for me. I believe working with people, relationships with people, collaborating with people, things are just going to be better. I don't believe you can do things on your own. I think when we kind of go to ourselves and on our own, we're not at our best. And so I think teaching when I coached was that you need your teammates. What is the best way for you guys to collaborate together? And I feel like that in business, I feel like that in life. And then also definitely the communication aspect of it really goes into business and life as well, of trying to be the best communicator you can be, the best person you can be, and just always trying to make each other better.
But being a good communicator, though, can have a lot of meetings.
Of course.
Dive into that.
Well, it starts with one first actually communicating. I think that is the first thing of, you can get through things. So not all the time are you going to agree on things, have the same picture of what something's going to look like to you. You can agree to disagree, but if you don't talk about it, then there's no way to get through it. So I guess that it would be the biggest thing of the communication aspect.
A couple more questions. Give me something about the Olympics that we don't know. The experience, anything.
I don't know. Like most people don't get paid for any of it, like any of it. But maybe people know that. We stay in little dorm rooms if we're not famous or the USA basketball teams, small dorm rooms, and you have a roommate and you walk down the hall to the bathroom.
Like college dorms?
Well, it's like you're in an apartment with like 3 rooms, so you have one bathroom for 6 people. Kind of. That's probably what.
So not glamorous. It's not glamorous.
It is not a glamorous life. There's some that do live a glamorous life, but it's very few. But most don't.
By the way, the Olympic Village, is it only Olympians or outsiders allowed in?
You can have like a family pass. You can give a family pass to come and say hello, but definitely to sleep. Those are certain hours. So it's just staff and athletes.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Have you gotten tight with Olympians overseas or is it you guys just to yourselves?
No, because a lot of us play overseas during our professional league. So a lot of the women that we're playing against are either our teammates overseas or we play against them overseas as well during our professional league. So I definitely have lifetime friends that were my teammates overseas that are foreign. And yeah, this one thing I definitely do miss about being retired is not having those experiences again, because I really loved playing overseas. I think some people didn't have as good of a time as I did, but I was always on great teams. I always tried to learn the language and embrace the culture, and I had a blast. It changed my life playing overseas.
All right. My last question for you, which I ask every one of my guests. Give me your unbreakable moment. The moment that should have broken you, could have, and didn't. And as a result, you came through the other side of that tunnel stronger forever.
Okay. What if it broke me for a second and then I had to reevaluate it?
But it didn't break you.
Okay.
You're still stronger. Are you stronger from it?
For sure.
And that didn't break you. Broke you means you're broken and you lay in pieces on the ground. And that's that.
Right. So in 2007, we were really struggling as a team. We had a coach and some of the vets didn't like the coach. I was the captain at that time. We were just having a lot of problems. And I would walk to practice and literally want to cry when I was at practice. It was so overwhelming. I wasn't enjoying volleyball anymore. I felt like I couldn't be the player or the leader that I was anymore. And one day, the president of USA Volleyball just came in and was like, "How are you doing?" And I just started bawling, like right before practice. And he had no idea about anything I was feeling. Not many people did. Just started bawling. He's like, "Okay, let's, go into the room." So I went into the room with him and the coach, and I just was like, I can't do this anymore. I think it's best if I leave the team right now.
Wow.
Not I'm not giving the team everything I can give. I'm not playing well. I'm not being the best leader I can. I need a break. And so they didn't obviously want me to, but I was like, I don't think I can walk into this gym again and not just be crying every time I'm playing. And so I took a
You
break.
say your teammates were just fucking with you?
What's that? No,
Your teammate?
no, I was talking with the president of USA
No.
Volleyball.
But what was getting you to that point?
All of it. So our team just like wasn't getting along. Some believed in the coach, some didn't believe in the coach. So we just could not get on the same page.
Okay. But it wasn't anything, they weren't attacking you.
No.
Okay.
Um, and then so I took a break and I had a month off before going overseas to play professionally. And while I was overseas, they gave me a call and I was like, I need to think about it. But I knew if I was going to come back that I might not be starting anymore. I might not be captain anymore. And I need to go and just be the most selfless person. And why I'm going is to help the team and be there for the team. And I made that decision, and it was the best decision of my life. I got there. Obviously, my teammates were happy to have me back. Sure, I wasn't starting initially and wasn't the captain, but Robin and I then were captains together. We were both playing a lot, and I just was there to give me, to be a good leader, to make people better, to give my all. And I worked really, really hard to get my spot back. And I really was happy about it. And then obviously went on to do 12 and we got that silver, but I thought I was done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what did that show you about yourself?
That I wasn't done, that I am.
No, but overall, like
that
you thought it broke you. It didn't break
yeah.
you. Sometimes it's okay to reset.
Yeah, it showed a reset. It showed I needed a break. It showed I needed to like mentally have a reset of why I'm there, what is important to me about being there. And it's always been about helping my team. And the fact that I felt in those moments that I couldn't help my team, that was the hardest part for me because I felt like I was letting them down, letting myself down. And yeah, I needed a reset.
I love it. Lindsey Berg, 3-time Olympian, 2-time captain of the U.S. Olympic women's volleyball team, 2 silver medals, and a gangster. And 1 beautiful business partner of mine. Lindsey, I appreciate you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Hey, I wouldn't have all this. I wouldn't be called Unbreakable without you. So
Right.
I appreciate you.
All right, Jay.
All right. Love you. Lindsey Berg. Thanks, Lindsey.